Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next speaker, Mike Korba, presenting the topic, Personalization in Communication, Navigating Customer Expectations and Market Realities in the AI Era.
Hi guys. Oh, yeah. We will be. You hear also the sound. Okay, it's okay. I can go with this movie mode. So today we will speak about the personalization. I'm on, but please ask me questions on the Slido because we have 40 minutes. Let's start with each good presentation should start with some story. So let's start with a story. And okay, on June 1st, 2009, precisely at 7:30 p.m., flight AF447 departed from sunny Rio de Janeiro to the romantic Paris. On the aircraft, everybody felt relatively safe. The Airbus A350 was considered as one of the safest planes. At the control seats seated Captain Dubois, which was a really experienced pilot. Moreover, that plane have the special feature, the newest technology, fly-by-wire, which modifies the movement of the stick in the plane, like flywheel of the aircraft, to the digital message, control it, and then move it to the hydraulic controls on the plane's wing. That way, it minimizes a risk of human error. Unfortunately, one of Earl Weiner's law have happened. This Earl Weiner's law is stated that digital devices correct many minor errors, creating a room for and one major one. And precisely at 11 p.m., aircraft have crashed, resulting in sudden death of whole crew. However, in marketing, in digital marketing, our catastrophes is like very much slower. We are sending emails, we are sending messages. Our catastrophes, our tragedies have a much smaller impact actually. This is one of the famous fuck up message in Poland where I come from. This is a bank and it tested it sent 6 million messages to like audience of 6 million people. So maybe you don't know that. Actually, it was so huge news in Poland that not only like marketing services have published an info about that, but a real news is published about a news about that. But maybe you know more international one, like a well-scheduled campaign sent by Adidas after Boston Marathon. That congrats, you survived the Boston Marathon. Uh, it was in 2013 where actually bombing happened, and it concluded with a sudden PR crisis. However, in marketing, we have a safety net, the classic excuse known as marketing intern. HBO actually used it in their official communication while sending an empty message to all their audience that really it was an intern. All those failed messages or all those huge crises are really, really small issues. One who does nothing makes no mistakes. So if we want to evolve, we need to make some mistakes. Those I've presented to you are minor one, but huge ones is like Elvis. Elvis stands for Elektronische Leitwarenschaft Information System. So implementation of the technology, SAP technology, ERP technology in Lidl. Lidl have spent just 500 millions euro, involved 100 smartest people from their organization, not included like external consultants, and spent 7 years, just after 7 years, telling, okay, it won't happen. We are not able to implement that technology that which involves personalization context in our organization, and they killed that project. Implementation of the technology always is a unique and never easy case. Like you can, especially when implementing personalization technology, you can hurt yourself. And but our consumers, nevertheless, uh, require us, is expecting from us a personalized communication. According to McKinsey report, 71% expects our from the companies personalized communication, and 76% of the in the same research from McKinsey is are irritated if it doesn't happen. So it's not currently nice to have, because if we don't personalize our communication, our customers are irritated. It's not an easy task. Yeah, my favorite comic drawer, Tom Fishburne from Marketunist, it's not so easy task. Like bad personalization is worse than none. First name Virginia Macchiato. So many experts on such conferences or during the workshop is telling you this very useful task is assigning you. You should personalize your customer experience. Yeah, so it's so obvious and so easy task to do, like drawing an owl. Do you know how to draw an owl? It is very simple. First, you draw two circles, and then you draw the rest of the owl. Yes, so thank you for today. Have a great day. No, like during next 30 minutes, I will try to you explain what actually personalization is, and how to move the next steps when you are responsible for the communication with your customers. Why can I talk about it? This is what we do on the daily basis. In user.com, we are all-in-one marketing platform, but in details, what we do, we grab all the data from your website, from your mobile device, like mobile application. We can grab data from a physical store. When you are scanning this loyalty card in your physical store, the only reason brands are asking you to do it is to identify your email address or your phone number with your purchase behavior. And based on that data, and we are grabbing data from all over devices. From one television, we are grabbing data from smart TV. So if you are choosing HBO or Netflix, this is the same event as you are adding to the cart in your e-commerce shop. For car sharing company, we are grabbing data from like physical cars. If you are opening, there's an event similar if you are clicking a video on your web page. And based on the data, we are able to reach out the right people through the right message with the right channel, and we cover email, push notifications, whole on-site communication, and you are building those journey. And today, when I will be speaking about this, how to previously mention all, I will use a framework which is called personalization maturity curve. Anybody heard about this framework? Please, hands up. Okay, so one person have seen. It's like I believe that marketers, if they have very advanced concept, they which is hardly to describe, they are drawing some objects on the table. Okay, let's name it a funnel or let's name it a flywheel if we can't describe it in the simple words. And many companies are drawing such personalization maturity curve. At first you need to walk, then you can run, etc., etc. So I've investigated several of them and created one special for you. The concept is pretty easy. You can earn more money if you are more matured on your personalization curve, and it is growing like logarithmical. So more things you're adding to that personalization, you are the fastest paced you are able to earn more money. So what are the basics, the first steps? I will tell you what kind of pitfalls you can avoid during this journey of climbing this hill. So what can go wrong with we are starting with mass campaigns. Those are like newsletter campaigns or like promotional campaigns. You are getting all your newsletter subscribers or your customer list, and you are sending a mass campaign. What can go wrong? Many things can go wrong. This is an actual campaign of a biggest retail store in Poland. I was participating a meeting with a marketing director, and I was like uh, surprised that he needed to left. We were speaking about personalization communication in the push notification channel when they launch. So first, maybe very obvious advice is to do not test on production. And I know that is obvious, but are you have you like additional instance of your marketing automation solution or your CRM where you are testing actual campaigns? Developers know it well, but marketers who are actually currently and engineers of marketing technology still are doing their job on the production. The second, maybe also obvious advice is read what you send. Even such huge brands like Apple can make with this mass campaign some mistake, like in the event of your death coming later this year. Yeah. So I hope that everybody will die in the different timestamp. So it would be rather better to talk about the triggered campaigns. Trigger campaigns are like the heart of marketing automation. So something is happening and we are reacting with the specific message. So for example, somebody is adding product to your cart. We are waiting 30 minutes or 1 hour. After that time, we are checking if he had purchased that product or not. And if he didn't purchase, we are sending a rescue abandoned cart. So both are those trigger campaigns. We need to write a scenario and then set up the technology responsible for that. So writing scenario is a hard task, but we can like think about it. Okay, if somebody will visit my website, I will try to engage him with an automatic chatbot message. And if the question will be like will be visible in my database, I will say, I will answer it with a specific article. But if not, I will say, okay, great. Thank you. I'm calling a real person to answer your questions. And in terms of like such scenario, PayPal actually did it. So, hey, I'm virtual agent. I got scammed. Great. So you need to like visualize each possible scenario if you are letting your customers interact. Everybody is talking. Not we don't send message. We are in the communication and we want to automate it. I'm doing it, those trigger campaigns for more than 8 years, and I'm really satisfied that Most popular analytical tool in marketing swifted to GA4. GA4 is a Google Analytics 4 is a probably well known by you solution, but the crucial information is the data structure. If we want to trigger some messages, we need to have some events. And when universal analytics was popular, they didn't have those events. Right now, in GA4, the data structure, I will be speaking a lot about the data structure today, is very similar to the data structure in our CRMs. So we have an object of a user, and user have some properties, so attributes, depending of if you are using Salesforce or HubSpot or Emarsys, it slightly changes the name, but this user perform an event. And when you are creating an account in Google Analytics 4, you need to set up those events which will report in Google Analytics, but also can be a triggers of your campaigns. And when I'm entering marketer like some Google Tag Manager, because it's mostly set up in Google Tag Manager, and I see work of several marketers, this is what I see. So sign up without one marketer written it that way, another written it that way. We don't have currently a standard for that. So if you are setting up your events, no matter if it will be sent to Google Analytics or to your marketing automation platform, I strongly recommend this framework to use. So you will have several objects, like depending on your business. For e-commerce, you will have products, but if you are a tourist organization, you will have like hotels. If you are for example SaaS business, you will have an accounts, yeah, and you can create those events with like what with specific object was done by the so product view, card, saved, hotel, opened, etc., etc. So, okay, uh, when we master our mass campaigns and trigger campaigns, so we know all those events and how we will react on the specific interaction, we need to think about the content inside those messages. And it should be personalized, it should be dynamic. Most popular case is like hello first name, yeah, so we are inserting the dynamic field which we are storing on the user object inside the communication. What can go wrong? Many things can go wrong. Some typo might occur, and this is an actual message from LinkedIn which had sent it to me. So because such systems are grabbing data from several sources, and this data many times is not super clean, so one pop-up contains your first name and second does not contain it. So you can use a default reply. So if there is a first name, I'm sending a first name, but if it doesn't have it, you're sending a default default value for a friend. Three things which is worth taking care of in the dynamic content in your email, SMS, or push campaigns. First one, you should utilize multiple objects. So if you are having an e-commerce store, you should have like your products. Yeah, and products can have like brands, color, sizes, categories. If you are a B2B company, you can use a company object. Good CRM or good marketing automation systems enables you to create those several objects, and each of that object can have additional attributes or additional fields on that attribute, and those content on in this field can have different data types. So for example, if you are a SaaS and you have an object of the subscription, you can insert there a date, and based on that, or recurring date like renewal date, and based on that date you can do several automations, like if it's 3 days to upcoming renewal date, send this message, and thanks to that this is a date, you can render in your email that in 3 days we will like cancel your subscription. So mm, you can do all the Jinja or all the programming and if else conditioning. I'm working for like 20 years with developers, so I might go totally into those technical issues, but anybody know Jinja, what it is? So you can create a really outstanding messages. So for example, if somebody will add product to the cart and this product have this field of like brand name candy, you can take all two products which recently customer have watched or added to the cart, and create dynamic content of your title, like candy or second brand candy washing machine. This is Philip. You still don't know what to choose. Compare. This is a really one of the best email titles I've dynamic email titles I consider, and it really builds this personalized experience because it's based on the what I've actually performed on that website. But still, like if we don't exclude duplicates, you can you will be remembered, but still not perfectly. So in Jinja, you can become an HTML programmer. I know that some jokes are only for me, but HTML is not a programming language, so you can't be an HTML programmer. So okay, when we cover those mass campaigns, when we cover those trigger campaigns, and we secured all the dynamic fields, we need to go into the segmentation. And segmentation is a pretty obvious concept, yeah? So we take all of our customers, we define some segmentation criteria, assuming that we group based on those criteria, assuming that similar people will react to our messages in a similar way. And when we are, for example, in user.com, we are segmenting based on business model. So like we work with SaaS, e-commerces or marketplaces, but we also segment our database based on the contact person we are speaking with. If we are speaking with the marketers, we are talking in a different language than we are talking with the salesperson. But of course, we have different like plans, and we treat differently self-service companies and enterprise companies. So you need to define your segmentation criteria, which you will store in your CRM or in your CDP or warehouse. And what I see, because my daily job is to like going into your CRM and thinking, oh my God, we need to tide it. To clean it up, I see that when people are implementing such marketing automation technology, they are taking segmentation criteria, which was learned 20 years ago on universities. So we are saving the age, we are saving the gender, we are sending like family status or social or salary and favorite spending fees or hobby, because it helps us to some time ago to target ads. But let's take a specific person, like date of birth 48, male, married, twice, and two children, man of success, top 1% of society in terms of material status, and both king of BlackRock and king of Great Britain fits that mm, segmentation criteria, and if we want to personalize, we need to have totally different segmentation criteria in our database. What I can recommend to you is to store in your CRM warehouse or wherever segmentation criteria which actually differentiate your customers. And first is shopping behavior. So the best segmentation on the shopping behavior is RFM. So we store attributes like recently, frequently, and monetary. And thanks to this three parameters, we can see what kind of customers we have. We can segment customers based on perceived benefits. Systems like Salesforce, user.com, or any marketing automation can grab an actual UTM source which you've derived your user to your website, and it can store that data on a user profile. And if you have a multiple products, multiple categories, you will, especially in B2B, you will know how this specific user perceived the benefit you are selling to him. You can segment based on the stage in customer journey. You differently communicate to the customers who are very fresh, and you communicate in a different way to customers who are like repeatedly buying from you. You can segment also based on the mm, product utilization or the level of service. For example, in user.com, we are checking, and on the each subscription, we are seeing how many emails you've sent last month and how many emails you sent 2 months earlier, just to check if you are growing or you are declining in terms of sending emails, in terms of active automations, and in many parameters. So this level of service or product utilization, this is a very good segmentation criteria. You can segment on the customer satisfaction if you perform NPS or customer satisfaction score, or customer loyalty. But like, I don't know how to say that this is a loyal customer. From my perspective, like, loyalty is a buzzword just to get more data about the specific customers. Um, Three things you need to consider in segmentating your CRM or CDP. You need collect distinguishing data for segment differentiation. Many companies, many people are trying to have so much data in their CRMs, but it doesn't make you this element of distinguishing different segments. Second, you need to describe attributes. What does it mean, from what source you can it came. I strongly recommend to create a dictionaries, because right now you can create an additional field of like VIP, true, false, or mm, need to reach out, like additional tag. But if you don't add additional description to it, you won't remember it in in 2 or 3 months. So when you are a developer and you are creating a code, actually everybody writes a description. But if you are a martech specialist in your organization, there are no dictionaries, there are no documentation. So I strongly recommend you to do it. Also aggregate data from events. So you can aggregate, you can store like very granular data, but you can also aggregate data. What is the value of the purchases of this specific customer through last 12 months? Okay, climbing higher on the personalization maturity curve, when we cover those mass campaigns, those trigger campaigns, we have this dynamic content inside, and we are sending only specific messages to specific segments. We need to send it through several channels. And it's 2024, and like on such conferences, from stages or during the workshops, people are speaking about the omni-channel for like last 20 years. But still, if I'm a consumer and I'm using some mobile application or e-commerce and I'm visiting a physical store, I see that it's rather multi-channel, but I don't have one utilized experience in the mobile app, in the physical store, in the newsletter. It's not so easy to merge those technologies together, but there are trends which helps us. Probably you know this Cambridge Analytica stuff. It hurts for sure ads. It hurts people who are relying on very precise targeting. But from my perspective, all those issues related to Brexit or choosing the Trump have moved marketers from third party data to the first party data. And right now I see like budgets moving from spending on ads or on spending on our actual customer base, building those loyalty programs, building those CDPs, CRMs, marketing automation platforms, or customer engagement platforms. So first you need to get good CRM, good technology, which will enable you to like build those objects, create those attributes. And what I can say, I strongly recommend to go with the MAH approach. So of course, you can buy a Salesforce account, but it's a really, really expensive one. And it will create you a vendor lock, but you can create it in more MAH infrastructure. For example, when I was starting in that industry and I was building an e-commerce shops, you were going to with Magento, and Magento was like a monolith. So search was from Magento, product inventory management was in Magento, front end and back end was in Magento, product recommendation was in Magento. Currently, when you are building an e-commerce store, you are taking, I don't know, search from Agolia, product recommendations from Luigi Box, front end of the shop from View Storefront, product inventory management from a different store solution, and you are creating your e-commerce stack. Similarly, if you are creating your marketing CRM stack, you need to think that way, that you will have several microservices, several applications which will communicate via API, change like synchronizing the data, so you can compose your Martech stack, and some of tools would be headless. It won't have a GUI, so graphic user interface you log in. So so those are like mass campaigns, trigger campaigns, dynamic fields, segmentations, and omni-channel. And most of brands are telling that they have mastered that and they need an AI for that. In my humble opinion, like only 2 or 3% of the market actually have mastered this element. And as Friedrich Nietzsche once said, the person who wants to fly cannot start with flying, they must first learn how to walk. But we are on the digital marketing conference, so we want those hot topics, the future. And the future is called NBA NBO. Somebody know what is NBA NBO? It's not connected to LeBron James and those guys. NBA NBO is a hard concept, which is like Polish electrical car or Hyperloop or Google Glasses. This stands for next best action, next best offer, and uh, it enable you to send automatically messages based on the specific KPI requirements. But we've actually built such solution, but it didn't perform well because it requires from our end not to change our product offering and don't have any like different offerings or different campaigns in different part of the year. But there are many smart algorithms like scheduling the best time offering. Those smart algorithms are connected also to product or content recommendations. And for example, Netflix, 75% content we consume on Netflix is driven by the recommendations. It's very high, but when you are launching this Netflix, you can't click anywhere else than in recommendations. So this is the reason why this parameter is so high. On Amazon, during one of the interviews, they said that 35% of content of a product purchased on the Amazon comes from recommendations. I don't have time for saying how recommendation works. This is the simplest, but more also most powerful translating how recommendation works. If we have a user A and user B, and user B have bought product XYZ, user A have bought product XY, probably we should recommend the product Z, and all the algorithms with the recommendation work that way. But on the top of the personalization curve is something which everybody is speaking about. Like there are so many marketing like AI experts that especially on LinkedIn. They were specialized previously in metaverse, previously in blockchain, and previously in social media. So they are just changing the hats. But yeah, AI is a revolution. I have a different approach in terms. It's like JavaScript also was a revolution, and AI is like a JavaScript. It is a layer, but nothing to be like very happy of. But if we are thinking about a good prompt contains like still the role, define the task, define. Those are only variables. And if you have those variables on your user, you can ask your AI to give a personalized message to accomplish that scenario, that scene from Minority Report a couple of years where the main character is going through the mall and he is identified by his eye. Right now we have first party cookies and we can identify him by that. He is a man, we can send him a beer ad. We know his browsing history. He went it to Bahamas. Right now, we will recommend it to Hawaii. Right now, he's entering a shop and we can identify him with via virtual assistant. We can call him by name. We can rely to his previous purchase history and recommend a specific product based on that. So this is a personalization maturity curve. So I hope that like drawing and all is a simpler task, but I strongly recommend please first focus on those simple ones and then try to go with it further. It's hard to implement this framework, so I've prepared for you a personalization blueprint in 3 steps. First step, you need to define a goal. You need to define a KPI, a metric you want to improve. On second step, you need to define a user segment, a behavioral identifiers which is our characteristics of the sequence, like events which this specific user perform. Third, you identify the moment on the customer journey or on the message, and then you choose the channel, like for example push channel, and then you are writing a scenario, how we will design the message or experience to be performed, how it could look in actual scenario of, for example, for Spotify. We want to enhance the 3-day stickiness of the application, and we want to do it on young professional and millennial segments. So we define a specific events, specific behavior identifiers we are storing in CRM. So they used mobile apps, they listen to the music, they selected preferred campaigns, and they have been users for 3 days. And at the specific moment of the day, before or after going to work, we will send a push notification, like before and after work, send a push notification message with a playlist recommendation based on the user history and selected preferences. Getting back to my story I've started with, specifically at 4 past 11, the aircraft hit the water surface. The onboard computer warned a potential stall up 75 times through a voice message. This was an AI algorithm. But why the catastrophe happened? Captain Dubois personally piloted the aircraft only for 4 hours during 346 hours spent in 6 months leading up to the tragedy, and all the remaining flying time was supervised by autopilot. Don't get me wrong, I know that AI is a great technology and we need to work on trying to implement that AI in our personalization communication. But AI can hurt ourselves, and I have a proof for that. Can we pop up the volume? AI can do a really great stuff, but also can hurt ourselves. Can do really awful stuff. Yeah. So thank you for your attention. That would be all from my side. I'm sorry for 3 minutes going up that time. Okay, I have some questions. What are the personalization tool having in-house built e-commerce, basic CRM? I'm not the right person to answer that question because I'm the co-founder of user.com and I will always recommend only my tool. So sorry for that. How do you balance granular segmentation and data minimization? Depending on the user specific needs, this aggregation of the data is the best way to minimize it. You can, in advanced solutions, you can also show a different attributes to the different profiles. So first step would be creating, not storing everything on a one user, but building those custom objects like companies, products, subscriptions, and so over. And second one, define those tasks. And how we are doing it actually, each quarter or each half year we are doing this cleaning of the database. If you are writing a code, sometimes you are cleaning your code, and this is the same thing you should do in your CRMs. And which CRM and email marketing tool do you prefer to use? Also, only one recommendation from my side. So thank you very much. And if you want to reach out to me, you have this contact.